Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you're new, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more Marvel Snap content. We have an OTA approaching relatively soon, and I wanted to give my... It's not a prediction video, but things that I would like to see. Now, some of these things probably won't even get close to happening. It's just more so like I would like to see changes to these units in some ways. Doesn't mean my ideas are the best. Just means... Just would like to see them, second dinner that is... tinker around the ideas of changing some cards. Buffs, nerfs, all the above. Or just, reworks. So, if you are new to the channel, smack the like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see in the upcoming OTA. I have no idea what's in there yet. So, this is just me having fun and really thinking about what I would like to see changed. So let's get into the first one. We're going to start with the nerfs. Xiao Lao the Undying is getting nerfed. I think this card has just been too strong for too long, and he's not far off from being where he needs to be. And I think the best way to adjust this card properly is to just drop it to where his on reveal give the last character you played +2 power for each turn you played 2 or more cards instead of +3. I think this lowers his ceiling a little bit, and he's still a really good card. This is just going to be more so like, if you want to do Xiao Lao, you need to do Xiao Lao. You can't have the crutch in between where you can miss his turn and still make this thing go +12, +15. It's just too strong. And even with this, I still feel like he's very dominant and very powerful. So this would just be something that I would like to see, just to see how it affects him. So that's the first nerf. The second nerf is a little bit of a weird one, and I will get into my full explanation of why I think I want to see Armazola nerfed. Now, turning him to a 7 cost is one of the most basic ways you could nerf this guy from being so usable everywhere. I do not like the basic concept of, I destroy something and multiply it into 2 different spots. This is too good for the units that we're getting nowadays. I feel like units that come out now are way too strong to be duplicating, so having a way to make it harder to do so in some decks would be a nice change. You still have Chameleon, you still have Nico, there's still ways to clone with Frigga. I just think Armazola is the cheesiest one because you could just abuse it way too easily, and I don't think this card is healthy for the game. I was going to make it a 6 cost active skill and force you to play this on 7 as an active skill, but I don't think it's playable with an active on a 6 cost. At least at 7 cost, you can still play it. He's just your win con. No other win con after him. He is your win con. There's no Armazoloing Fing Fing Boom. There's no Armazoloing anything that's 7 cost or higher. You Armazola that turn 7, that is your win condition. So I just, even with this, I still think this guy is disgusting. I still think it's unhealthy for the game. I still think the ability to clone stuff this easily is just gross. It kind of just I don't like it. It might just be me, but I don't like Armazola. I think he's just not good for the game. Moving on to our last nerf. This is a minor nerf, but I don't think it's a bad one. I just think she's been too strong for too long, and she's a hidden stealth pick that's way too powerful. And even this nerf doesn't really change the fact that the end of turn deck is just way too good. It's her active. Her active's too good. It's just, you can't really adjust her and nerf her. It's just, she is what she is. So I just said, screw it. We'll just shave a power off the top and call it Copium nerf. So Invisible Woman, first steps. Losing 1 power. This is my worst nerf. I'm sorry. I just don't know how to change her. I don't think you can change her. I think she's core to the end of turn team. I just think the ways that you can use her with Prodigy and Jocasta, it just becomes too much and way too good. But unfortunately, it's not all her fault. Prodigy is just too good. Jocasta is just too good. But out of all 3 of those evils, I think this one needs to get adjusted a little bit in some way. All right, moving on to Wolverine, Horseman of War. This is just an adjustment change. It's a buff overall, but it's also a little bit harder to activate his objective by 1 power. So his cost is still the same. I think the more optimal way to make this guy just appealing is just to drop his cost by 1 and make him a 3/3. Who cares if he works with a Silver Surfer? Unfortunately, it is what it is. But since they're probably not going to do that, or what I recommend, I don't know what they're going to do. They're probably just going to raise his base power, which is kind of lazy. But at least this way, you drop his power by 1, and you give his output a raise. So we dropped him from a 3 to 2 for his power. And then the objective is now, when this has 5 or more power, give one of your cards at each location plus 5 power. So you're getting more in return. So the reward feels a bit better, but it's still going to feel like a niche card. So you're gonna have to just, keep it in the same decks you've been playing, and essentially it's just going to give you a slightly better reward. So it doesn't feel nearly as bad. Does this fix all its problems? I don't think so. I still think even after these changes, like no matter how you change this guy, I don't think there's a correct or wrong way to fix this guy. I just think his gimmick, his kit as a whole is a little bit weird. But at least if you're giving plus 5 power to each location, you don't feel nearly as bad for the return of going wide. So I think this is just better than plus 3. It's just a little harder to achieve, which I think is a fair balance. Going on to one that they just buffed, but I feel like the buff did absolutely nothing, and I stand on it. And after playing a lot more Weapon X this season, I know his core issues. Too good, actually. Like, he's... This guy sucks. And even if you were to adjust him back, make him a 2-2, and give him the ability not to be destroyed, at least this way, one of his counters is off the table, which is helpful. His issue is that he has too many counters. Just too many counters. I think we need to remove one of his counters out of the picture, and I think the best way of doing that is making him unable to be destroyed. This, at least, yells usable. You can still get Deafening Chord early on. You can still get Cosmic Ghost Rider mid-stack. You can still get Guardian, Red Guardian. You can still get canceled with armor. You can still get canceled by so many things, right? At least this way, it removes the Shang-Chi counter. I think the Shang-Chi counter is the dumbest reason. Like, it's just a dumb thing to have. Like, getting Shang-Chi on a Weapon X, it's so stupid. It's just annoying. Like, you work all, because you have to build your whole deck around this strategy to begin with. So the payoff is literally your Weapon X. And if he's removed out of the board, you lose. There's no winning. You just lose. And even if you keep him on the board and you're able to stack him efficiently and do all the things correctly, he's still limited to how much power he can get within that deck. And Destroy is such a competitive space when it comes to cards going into the deck that he's just the worst one out of them all. So if you just make his ceiling and his safety just, actually, if you just make him a little bit safer to play than Deadpool, just a little safer to play than Deadpool, there's a reason to use him. He's still worse than Deadpool overall, but you can use him as a choice if you want to play that play style. I still think this is a worse Deadpool, which is like the best thing to compare him to because they're both like win conditions. He's just a slightly more appealing win condition now if you want to play more aggressively and play Destroy like rapid growth and make Weapon X look appealing. I think you just go 2-2 and make him unable to be destroyed. I think that's the best way to make this guy work. I don't really know what else you do with this guy except for give him a new passive. At that point, he's not Weapon X anymore, so it's like, what's the point? At least this way, I can look at him and be like, you know what? I can use this. This is usable. I like this. I can't Armazola it. It won't work. So it's technically a nerf to him if that's what your plan is. But like at least this way, I don't have to worry about that. I can just get him to be a 215, 220, and feel pretty good about it. Instead of getting like, or even a 210, and feel like that's all right. And then I don't have to worry about him getting one-shotted by a stupid Shang-Chi. And it's like, well, my strategy's ruined because I have to build my whole deck around this guy. It just feels bad. It just feels bad. So I think making him cannot be destroyed is the best way of changing this guy overall. This is going to be a spicy one. I think Agent Venom should be reverted to what he was. I know. Crazy. Freaking crazy. He just isn't being used as is because he's bad. Unfortunately. I think we just revert him back and see what happens. I think this would be a spicy one. I think a lot of people would like this one. And I think this one would make me actually look at him and be like, hey, that's pretty interesting. I kind of want to use him now. Do I think he's good off this? Yes, I think he's good off this. I think him being a 2-4 on reveal, set the power of all cards in your deck to 4 is pretty damn good. It is pretty damn good. But it's super restricted anyway, and like nowadays, I don't think that's going to make or break anything. This just makes what he was doing originally just better, and you're not nerfing yourself. It just setting your deck to 3. It's stupid. It's so pointless. At least this way, I can see justification of running a bounce deck. Bounce sucks, and maybe if this went back to 4, bounce would actually be pretty good. Because that's pretty much the only place you're probably going to run them anyway is bounce, and bounce needs some assistance. So this is one way to make it where it's like, well, at least we have this. Moving on to a spicy one. I've noticed that this kind of led to a bounce buff patch, but oops. But no, this one I actually stand by this one. I think Hawkeye needs a 1 power buff. I think his reward sucks. I think he just kills the space on your board. I do not like this guy. I don't like this no matter how you play this guy. I think he sucks. And even after this, he's just kind of mid. But I'd rather him be mid than bad. So his buff, 1 power. On reveal, if you play a card at this location next turn, plus 3 power. He's still kind of bad, but at least this way, it's more appealing. At least this way, you're like, well, I could deal with it. You know, it's not great. It's not bad. It's just more appealing. If they want to keep him this basic, well, at least this way he's more appealing. And he's an old series card, so it would be kind of out of nowhere if they did this, which would be great. Moving on to one that I actually do want to see, mainly because I want to buy the bundle and like have her in my account, and like, yeah. Silver Sable, going from a 1-0 to a 1-1. This really doesn't do too much for her. It makes her better, yes, by like 2 power at most, maybe 3 power at most. Great. Now you risk getting killed by Shang-Chi if you overdo it. Congratulations. I just want this so she is not just a complete... Like, she isn't a bad unit. If you can bounce her, if you can kill her, bring her back, if you can play her more than once, she isn't a bad unit. But every 1 cost has like at least 3 power. This one doesn't. So it's kind of like, why are these older cards, like Nightcrawler, getting an extra power? Like, I get that she steals 2 power in return, but like, I don't know. I just feel like a 1-1 would be better than a 1-0. Even though she's technically a 1-2. And 1-2 still technically underperforming, even though she's stealing 2 power. I don't know. I think a 1 power buff to this unit would be a bit better. Does she need it? No. This is just me wanting it, just to have it. I just want it. I really just want it. Why can't I have nice things? She's a Series 5. At least make her worth it. She's kind of worth it, but like, now she's really worth it. This one's kind of a spicy one. And the only reason I did this is because I've been looking around at Move. And while it's becoming better, I think it has core issues. A lot of its core units are 1-cost units that just die to Killmonger. Just straight up die to Killmonger. Which probably is one of the reasons why this deck is so hard to use, because Killmonger is pretty popular. So I think what you do to buff Move in a smart way is one of 2 things. And I have both of them in here, and I think both of them are fine. If you do both at the same time, I think it's fine. I think you change Batroc to a 2-3, and this way he doesn't die to Killmonger. That way you can actually use this guy and he can actually be kind of competitive. I still think he's gonna have the amount of same he'll have roughly the same amount of power as he normally would if you're able to, you know, efficiently do this. This does not make him OP. I don't think this makes him OP. I think this makes him where he is, just slightly safer from Killmonger, which is the idea with this guy. He's a Series 4. You could probably just buff him to 2 cost and keep his power as a 2. I kind of wanted him to be a 2-3. I think a 2-3 would be a better look for this guy overall. And then the last thing that we changed in this one, which is also a little bit like... I don't think Silk is necessarily just a bad card. I just think she's an outdated card. And I think if they were to remake Silk now, she would have a little bit more in her kits. And I think her moving once, or getting 1 power for every 4 moves with how she functions, is a respectable 2 cost. I do not think it breaks her. I think it just makes her a little less unappealing to those who don't, like, Silk is a hard card to use because when she's blocking your board space, she's always jumping to random locations you have no control over, and she can block your board. At least if you bring her this way, you bounce her a few times. A 2/7 is a lot more of a appealing, like, oh, well, I'm getting blocked by my own 2/7. That's a lot more appealing than I'm blocking myself by a 5-power 2-cost card. Because nowadays, we have 2-power cost cards that are 9 power, 10 power, 13 power. She just doesn't keep up. A 2/5 is not near that. At least if she's like a 2/7, a 2/8, and she just, you block your locations and you're finishing off of that, you don't feel nearly as bad. It's still not great. But if you lower it any more off of like after every 3 moves, it gets a little risky. If you do it after every other move, it gets way too good. So you have to make it still hard to do, but still have at least a little bit of a reward at the end. And I think her being a 2/7, 2/8 at max 2/9, I imagine this is hard to do at a 2/9. I think if she hits 2/9, you're playing very well with your cards and you're just doing what you need to do. But realistically, I think she's a 2/7 at this, or like a 2, like she's probably a 2/7, 2/8 at this, which is still, that's a fine number to be at. Wild Child's a 2/9 and he's still kind of like, eh. It's not bad. It's not great. You want to be more where Chamber is when the situation hits. You want to still be like where that, like, a potentially hitting, above 2/9, potentially hitting it. And she has the potential to hit above 2/9 here. So this is probably one that I would love to see. I think Silk would be really popular after this one just because of the potential of her ceiling. Because you're playing against your opponent who's probably playing where she goes, and like you could realistically get 1 power a turn against some decks. Shout out. But like realistically speaking, I think this is a really cool change. I don't hate this change. I actually really think this would be a nice change for Silk. So those are my changes. Those are all the cards that I would like to see like not necessarily changed. Like I don't think all of them need to be changed. I think Shallow definitely needs to get nerfed. I would like to see both Wolverines get adjusted one more time, get fixed. I definitely think Horseman of War needs something. I also think Weapon X still needs to be changed. Agent Venom is just a spicy tank change. I think he would be fine back to what he was. I don't think he was broken. I think he's fine. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of these weird OTA changes. This is not a prediction video. I don't think any of this is going to happen. Maybe the Shallow nerf will. But like the rest of it, I doubt any of it would have actually ever happen. Some real copium right there. But you never know. Maybe one hits. We'll see. Maybe one hits. Maybe I got the right units. Just the wrong idea. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Peace.